Welcome back. Welcome back. WNYWaterCooler.com podcast. We're back. We had a hiatus, but Steven Coaster back.
Did we miss 1 week? Kinda. I mean, there was the bye week, but then we missed only 1 week, right? We haven't talked since the Chiefs game. I
Yeah,
mean, we've
and this is
talked, but
already
just
late.
not
This podcast is
officially
already
on the
late, so
podcast.
no one will even listen to this one, but we'll still do
Eh,
it.
nah, people need something for the weekend. You know, all the other podcasts, no one's publishing anything on Saturday and Sunday, so we're filling the void.
Ooh, yeah, we're cornering the market on weekend podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Chiefs
so it's
game. Yeah, so we had the
yeah,
Chiefs game, and then we had the Niners game and a bye. I mean, you're saying we didn't, but we missed like 3 weeks. But yeah, that Niners game. Going into it, I thought, are we gonna get backdoor covered? But also, the fucking quarterback was hurt, and
yeah,
half their other team. I mean, when they had the left tackles out, their
yeah,
their right D end is out, and of course, CMC gets hurt.
yeah. I, I don't know, it was one of those games where I felt so confident that I was like, it was like the Ravens game all over again in my head. I'm like, oh my God, am I like missing something here? But with all the injuries they had and Purdy, I don't think he's got the strongest arm to begin with. And there's no way his shoulder is like 100% all of a sudden. So coming into like that weather, I just didn't think he was going to be able to do much of anything. I mean, he couldn't even grip the football. Um, and it was, you know, hard to play. They didn't, you're right. Like you said, they didn't have their left tackle and their best defensive player was out. So it just kind of game kind of worked out as I would have expected it to. Um, we made a few big plays on defense, got some turnovers, the fumble at the goal line made it, and the Purdy fumble kind of made the score way more lopsided. But in the end, it was dominating performance. I mean, our offense we can run the ball. We're built for this now. You know, we're built for this weather. What we talked about in years
Was that
past.
Cook's only long run of his career? I mean, it counted, but
He had a
we're built for it.
50 he had a 50 yarder in against Miami this year, I think. But we talked about in past years, like we have to be able to run the ball. We have to be able to run the ball. And ever since Brady took over, obviously we're just a good running team.
Is and people are talking about hiring him as a coach. I
Yeah,
don't get that.
premature.
Like, what's he scheming up? The offense. I mean, the Bills are putting up all these points, but it seems like it's mostly just Allen running into the end zone or like the offense is not. It's weird, it's not impressive, but we are scoring a lot of points. It's maybe it's because I've been to the last like 5 games in a row. Watching these games in the stands, it's tough to like really analyze this shit.
Well, it doesn't. It people want. I mean, even I feel like WGR is changing their tune on this. Like the NFL is different now. People want to see teams just like throwing it all over the yard. Like no one does that. I mean, what team is having the
Lions,
most?
maybe.
I guess, but they also run the ball a ton.
Yeah, they do run the ball a lot.
And I guess the team that's throwing the most passes and the quarterback with the most passing yards, Cincinnati, they're 4-8 or 4-9 or whatever they are. So you got to be a well balanced team, and we're not just throwing it all over the yard, but we've we've been really good on third down. We started like bad on third down, but we've been really good on third down for the past like 2 months, making plays when we have to make them. I mean, Allen making plays when he has to make them, and defensively, they still make me nervous, but they're doing somehow, man. You guys got to give credit to McDermott. I don't know
Who's
how he
you
does it.
guys?
What do you mean?
Who's you guys need to give him credit? I
No, no,
don't.
no. Like I didn't say that. I didn't mean to say that. Like I guess like I have to give credit to McDermott because I still watch our defense and think they like stink, but every year he figures out a way in the regular season to like have a good points per game allowed and the bend but don't break and I guess timely takeaways. And it's hard to say it's like luck. I mean, he does it year in, year out. And we're getting healthy on defense now, so they're better. They're as well positioned as they've been in the McDermott era.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're with the defense, what I'm with the offense. Kind of like, I mean, it's got to be somewhere in the middle, but uh, yeah, the team this year, the AFC, it's kind of like last year, which everyone's like, oh, last year's going to be the only year that well, it'll be like really open. The only thing that's not open is the motherfucking Chiefs never they win.
Yeah,
What's their point differential? Like, they have 11 wins. So it's like what, 12? Like the
it's like
team.
plus they're third in their division in point differential.
It's just, yeah, it's like
It's like
mind-boggling.
plus 53 or 54 or something like that. And it's terrible. I mean, the second worst 11-1 team ever was like plus 85. Well, what they're doing, it defies the odds. I mean, it's no one can argue that they're not lucky. They're super lucky. They can be good and lucky, and that's what they are.
And some of it
They're
to me is you change the way you play against certain teams. I mean, even McDermott, like a rare like truth that he said a couple weeks ago on Chap and the Poodle. He's like, well, against this team, we're gonna go for it, and then if it's a possession, keep the ball type of game, we might not go for it. Like the teams
yeah,
play different against the Chiefs. Like they grip up, like it's like a tight game every time. They choke basically.
well, yeah. I mean, the Raiders did choke last game. I mean, to uh, what happened
I mean,
again?
a
They
lot of that's
snapped it.
coaching. They ran up to the line
The
and
center
then
snapped it. But they called false start, and then the refs decided to call something that the Chiefs could like decline instead of it being a dead ball.
I mean that's
So
conjecture, but yeah, I
that's
mean
what
it's
happened, though, right?
perceived. Well, you don't
Yeah.
know what they're going to actually call. It was a
Oh, okay.
confusing thing. It was a confusing play where they were all running up. There were still people moving. The center, just because everyone they show the center snapping, he's yelling because he obviously wanted false start instead of illegal formation. Because illegal formation you can decline, and false start is just it's dead ball.
I'd have
Which
to see it
that
again,
again is
but
lucky. It was lucky,
yeah.
and also it's just the Raiders choking because they have the stupid coach, and they have a third. I mean, he is a third string quarterback. It's his second year. He went from to fucking Purdue. It's not like this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to Big Ten school, but it's ain't no
I,
kind of.
I thought whistles were blowing too, like immediately.
Hmm.
Like I have to go back and look, but were there whistles blowing? Like, I don't know. But
I
the
mean, the
whole thing was
ball was snapped. It was snapped before there was a whistle, but yeah, but
right, but
even part of that, it gets kicked by an offensive lineman, and then the Chiefs fall on it. If it was the Raiders that fell on it, the clock would have at least stopped. Maybe there would have been a 10-second runoff, but even that aspect of it, they land on the ball instead of the Raiders. It- and that's just one game. There's like six like
yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to be a good a Super Bowl favorite, and you're gonna beat the Panthers by 3 on a last second field goal. I mean, there was nothing fluky. They won that game, but like, come on. And now
It was
I
tied
got
with 2 minutes left. Is was
right,
part of it.
and I got people trying to tell me now. You listen to like this, whatever. It's like, oh, Bryce Young has turned a corner, or maybe the Chiefs just aren't that good.
And Bryce Young's not that good. And but the flip side of it is, so we care so much about the one seed, so you get the bye, but we're not even good in the playoffs at home. We've
I yeah,
lost we've lost two of our last three at home in the playoffs. Part of it, okay, so you want to rest and get a bye. So say the Chiefs, the Bills might lose one of the next two. The Chiefs, if they don't lose, then we can just take a bye week 17 anyway, because the three seed, I guess it's the Steelers, but they're not gonna. I don't know what the tiebreaker would be, but I doubt.
dude. If we're the 2 seed, we're not playing a road game in the playoffs. That's all, I guarantee. I guarantee. So
Well,
I I don't see KC beating the way it could the way it could pan out. We're in very good shape for the 2 seed because the Steelers have tough games left and they're all AFC games. So they're gonna probably lose a couple. Um and we have a 3 game, like Baltimore and Houston would have to, like, they'd have to run the table. We'd have to lose 3 games. So it's
Well, yeah, head to head, they would beat
right.
us. But yeah, it would probably be a three-way tie.
But we'd have to lose 3 games to get into that. They'd have to, the Texans or Ravens would have to go undefeated, and we'd have to go 2-3 to get in a tie with them. And
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, they're going to lose a couple AFC games here. They're not running the table.
I
And
wonder
our
what it would be.
losses,
Say the Bills and Steelers have the same record, which is probably unlikely, but possible. It would come down to AFC record.
which is likely going to favor us because our toughest games remaining are
Yeah,
Rams and
against
Lions.
NFC teams.
So, but we're in good shape for the two at worst. Not a guarantee, but we're in good shape for it. And then the first round opponent, then it's an interesting sort of situation where if you're the 2 seed, you're probably more likely to want to face the 3 or the 4 because one of those teams are going to get knocked off by like Baltimore unless they come back and win the North. But then you have Baltimore going to KC if they're the one. So it's a little weird, but you're likely playing Indy or Denver if you're the 2 seed, which will, that'll continue your narrative.
And I thought Denver, like some of these teams I haven't watched because like 4 o'clock games on the West Coast, I'm not watching that stuff. Like Denver and the Chargers, the first games I watched from them was last week. Denver, I mean, they gave up tons and tons of points to Cleveland,
Yeah. I mean,
and
Jameis had like 500 yards passing and they gave up 32 points and they needed 2 pick sixes to win. Denver's not that good.
yeah,
I mean,
I
they're
mean,
okay. They're okay, I
if
guess.
if a rookie quarterback who, I mean, yeah, he's like 35 and but if that dude comes to our barn and wins like first round,
Not happening.
I'd be shocked. I mean, he did
Neither,
not
same
look
with
good.
Richardson.
Cleveland has a pretty good defense, but they don't have that good of a defense. And he looked shaky. But yeah, like you said, they got 14 points on their defense.
Yeah. And they had a 99-yard touchdown pass, which is definitely like luck.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other contender is Indy, who
Who we trounced already.
we try. Yeah, there's no way Richardson's gonna like those. Those would be really good matchups as the 2 seed. Um, Chargers make me a little more nervous, but I mean they
I wouldn't be scared of them in the cold.
no.
Coming all the way here.
So and those are your most likely opponents in the first round, even as the 3 seed, because either Baltimore or Pittsburgh is probably going to be the 5 seed. So it's shaping up good. And I think KC is going to lose their first playoff game, even, no matter if it's a wild card, what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes has a track record of not pulling it out in
Dude,
the playoffs.
it's mean reversion, man. They can't keep this up. It's the luck that they've had on their side is going to run out. It has to.
I remember saying that about Tom in 2006, 2012, 2018, 2021.
Dude, look
So
at those seasons,
maybe.
though. Look at those seasons, man. Well, first of all, they didn't win the Super Bowl in 2006 or 2012, but they had games where they've trounced teams. Also, I mean, obviously we've seen it. We saw it every year. They blew teams out. This Chiefs team blows out nobody ever. So even in
I'm
the
sure the
playoffs
Patriots
last
had
year,
a season. I'm sure the Patriots had a season where they didn't really beat a lot of teams handily, but
well, there was like I think like 03, maybe 04. I think the Chiefs backers like to point to, but it was a different league back then too, man. It was like defense and teams scored way fewer points. It was a different sport in 2003. But anyways, so
well, going to LA and then we'll have to go to Detroit. The Detroit, LA, that team's kind of, I don't know, their division is so strange, and I'm not really scared of the Rams. I love Stafford. I mean,
aren't they just kind of similar to Seattle?
I'd say they're probably analogous. Yeah, the Rams, they give them credit for like getting sixth round DNs that put up a couple of stats, but that's just because they
Sixth
never
round?
draft anyone. I don't, this some, or maybe they're higher. Well, your boy verse,
He's drafted him. He's the best player in the draft. I was saying in March. You should have traded up for that
he's
cat.
their only first round pick since they're in St. Louis.
They got the two FSU boys first two rounds, and those boys can play some ball. They would have single handedly beat Georgia. No, we don't need to get into that travesty, or not even Georgia.
ACC's good.
They would have been playing in OSU or something. Whoever was in the CFP, it's ridiculous.
Third string quarterback. No one wants to watch that, but uh, either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Rams, well, that whole division. So we beat Seattle at Seattle pretty handily. We beat Arizona at home barely. I mean, that was pretty lucky. And then we pretty much trounced the Niners, although they had no one. So we were this is kind of like '04, where we just killed the NFC
Ha,
West.
just thought that. That's funny. Um, yeah, Rams are five, well, one 5-7, but they beat the Raiders by 5, beat Seattle in OT, beat Minnesota by 10, lost to Miami at home, barely beat the Pats, smoked by Philly, beat the Saints 21-14. Nothing too impressive there. Um, so
Yeah, I mean, basically it's just well, I like Stafford, but also everyone loves the coach who he got to 2 Super Bowls, so you got to give him
yeah,
some credit. Although they had immense talent. I mean, they really did have a lot of talent on those rosters.
yeah, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Kupp in his prime, Beckham,
Whitworth was, I mean, the
my boy Cam Akers.
Cam Akers.
I mean, he did go to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff.
Yeah, well, Goof, which I want to talk about them a lot next week. I don't know, the Lions. Well, I watched them last night because we're doing this on Friday night, but I don't know. Like people watch that Lions game thinking, "Oh yeah, well, they're the team to beat." That's not how I took that game. I
I mean,
mean, I'm a hater. I don't want any team that's like the Bills to win, but they come out and just like turn over, fumble, don't stop anybody. They
did they
gave up
watch?
30 something
Yeah.
points in the second half.
Look at the Bears game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they should have lost that one.
Should have lost. That was, oh
I
my
mean, that was
goodness
the bear. You,
gracious. That
you
was
fire the
crazy.
coach. Goodness gracious! Oh, I'm getting the vapors. Oh my gosh.
What happened in that end of that game was
Yeah,
truly, truly spectacular. Worked out for me though, because I had
even
well,
Mike McCarthy was questioning that ending.
I don't know that was crazy what happened there. I was just watching the clock, like what are they doing? And then I'm thinking, oh,
You
that was
start panicking at least at 15 seconds. You take a timeout. You wasted 15 seconds. You got this quarterback who's painting his nails and he's in SoCal, just
nothing
chilling
wrong
on
with
the
that.
beach. Like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'll have a fucking just give me a coconut mixer. Just well, maybe we'll get this off. That was bizarre. I
yeah.
mean,
He deserves a lot of blame too. I mean, he is the quarterback.
yeah,
Like
no, yeah.
you,
I mean, he's skating, but the number one overall pick, the guy's been he was like Andrew Luck-esque prospect.
you
I
got
mean,
to have
pretty much.
you got to have some awareness of what's going on, and like he's just waiting for the coach to call timeout, or like they changed the play with like 12 seconds left or something, and
The
like
worst was yeah, about 13 seconds left. He's like touching his helmet or just like blowing on his hands or something. Like what the, snap
yeah,
the ball.
exactly. Like yeah, they have the timeout, they want to keep it. Like that's smart. Just snap it with 15 seconds. You have the whole field, and even snap it with 10 seconds. You call a timeout right after the completion, and they snap it with like 4
Six or
left.
four, yeah. Like,
That was insane. But
and that was a
yeah,
classic Lions Thanksgiving. They always collapse.
first win in like 8 years on Thanksgiving.
I mean, and then yesterday, Thursday night, they play. So the nerds have the math of like you're not they weren't they lost 3 percentage points or whatever for
By
going
going for it.
for it instead of just kicking it.
But the nerds probably, but everyone loves Campbell for doing it. Wait, did the nerds love him for doing it, even though it was like against their whole
Well, they didn't want to say
mantra?
they didn't want to say they didn't like it, but they really didn't like it. But of
Yeah.
course, they're not going to say that. If it's college, that's ball. That's the end of the. Well, Green Bay gets it there.
Yeah.
Or if someone breaks through and touches them, there is turnover.
Yeah. Yeah. Eh. I'm glad they won leading up to our game though.
Yeah,
Letdown game. Letdown game for them.
yeah, they get some extra time.
They pretty much lost. Well, I guess Minnesota could win the division. They're just kind of chilling there, 10-2, what, a game back, and
Yeah, I mean that was a huge win for the Lions, like standings wise.
yeah.
But
Like I watched. I actually surprisingly watched a lot of that game, which is might
wow.
be some. I know. I'm not sure that I if I had to pick the Lions or Packers tomorrow, I probably would. I might take the Packers.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I think the Packers, if they went back to Detroit, I'd be surprised if that spread was more than three and a
Yeah.
half.
So yeah, I don't know what it is about golf either. That dude, not a big golf
Goof.
fan.
And no one's a big Goof fan. I mean, I was shocked that that was his first interception since that Colts game or the Colts week when he had five at that Sunday
Yeah.
night game.
I just like refuse to give him like credit that
He, he's
you
like
know.
he's like a good quarterback, a good game managing quarterback that has a strong enough
Yeah,
arm, but
he's like a poor man's Burrow. Like
mm,
Burrow's like an elite game manager type quarterback, but Goff's like the same style, but just not even close to as good. I would say. I don't
I
mean to
don't like
call
his.
Burrow a game manager, but
Well,
like
you did call him that.
well, he needs like Burrow if he has a totally shit team. I mean, you see the Bengals without T Higgins. I mean, T Higgins, not Jerry Rice, but I think Burrow needs guys. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, he always has had guys, so it's kind of
Yeah,
tough.
but if he
But
has these guys, he's going to be incredible. Like,
he does have two. Well, one top three, five guy, and then probably the best second receiver in the NFL, or maybe one of two or three of the best
Burrow, you're
second receiver.
talking?
No, T. Higgins is the best like
Yeah.
second option on any team.
Yeah, he's a number one on a lot on probably 10 teams.
Yeah.
Um, but you
I
know,
mean,
and
I'm
then you
glad they're dead. I'm glad they're dead.
well, they're not like officially dead. We do want them to lose one more game. So that's the
Yeah.
one team that I just don't I want nothing to. If they win out and go 9-8 and just
Their
need
defense,
Denver
though,
to get
their
to 10.
defense is horrific.
Yeah. And we don't have to worry about any outside drama going into the playoffs this year.
Well, I'm
Assuming
still miss Diggs, but
assuming
yeah,
no one dies on the field and whatever. We have Allen's ex-girlfriend clearly something's up with that with her. She's crazy.
well, her and Terry.
Brain dead. I'm not dating a brain dead CTE athlete. Wild comment, but you know.
Well, I'd say the same thing, but yeah, I mean Haley Steinfeld. I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. I don't know. She can give me a lab test. I don't know who the fuck she is, but
See, she's
Joshy,
in the background.
yeah, good.
Joshy's in a good head place right
Yeah,
now, and
according to Snowman, that
Snowman just
oh yeah, we're so
destroy
happy now.
just
Like
destroying Stephon Diggs. I
he
loved every
basically
second of
buried
it.
him. He did definitely
Buried him.
he buried him, and he sort of knew he was doing it,
Yeah,
stopped, and then kept going again with
yeah.
his.
He's like, fuck it. I'm just gonna bury this guy. This guy's buried. This guy's buried my QB in the media four too many times. I'm not laying off.
Although
I
I'm still
loved
not
it.
sure what Diggs ever did or said, but
He's so passive aggressive. And then he
the
had the
most
tweet.
passive aggressive. He's like everyone's wife. Like
And then the tweet where he's like, someone said, Allen doesn't need Diggs or whatever, and Diggs was like, "You sure?" That's kind of not looking great for him
yeah,
right
well,
now.
it's
But
crazy to me that these players read responses to tweets. But I guess
yeah, I mean
you're
Diggs is a
bored. You got 24 hours in a day, I guess.
torn ACL. I mean he Diggs they were good for each other, and then they weren't. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
and we cut ties probably a year too late, honestly. But
Probably. We gave him fucking 60 mil guaranteed that fucked our cap. I
but
mean,
wasn't that before? Wasn't that before 21? Wasn't that before the 22 season?
I don't think so. It was going into it.
It
And
couldn't have been. Yeah,
no,
before the
because
22
it
season.
was we were all like, you just signed an extension. So it was
Well,
right before that bullshit.
yeah, like
It
we
was
didn't
during
know.
the season or right before
It
yeah,
was
it was 2 seasons ago at like
yeah.
very beginning, like in August, I
It
think.
was before. It was before the season that ended with the Bengals games.
Yeah, so he had a full
Yeah,
season of like, oh, la di da, you're happy, and then
shit hit the
like
fan after the
not a
Cincy game.
calendar. I don't think it was a calendar year, but it was a football season.
Yeah, no, I agree there. Yeah, and then
And then he rolls into minicamp,
yep.
and McDermott throws him under the bus, and then everyone's like,
Why isn't McDermott in the Coach of the Year running? You just like you have to be a new coach to be or go like almost
well,
undefeated.
maybe. I mean, some of this stuff. There's a lot of minutia in that. Like, so they're not taking bets from New York State. You can't bet on that. So that kind of it changes the handle. That's why all this stuff
Oh,
people like, oh, you can't these the Super Bowl odds. They what the Vegas books care about is their exposure. They want everyone to bet on everybody, but if
oh,
you can't. Bills fans in New York State can't bet on it.
so you think
So,
Allen's even more of a favorite than he is?
well, I don't know who bets on that stuff. They talk the betting shows which I listen to. They talk about this stuff, futures bets. Who makes all these futures bets? And then I read uh, SMU did a study that 5% of people on DraftKings or whatever withdraw profits. Like this
That's
whole
high.
fucking thing
Oh, dude, sports,
is,
the online gambling is probably ruining a lot of lives.
I mean, I thought, oh, people gamble and they already know about it, but it is so easy and it's just like, oh, swipe and deposit another $100 from
Yeah,
Venmo. Like
yeah, dude, it's it's fun to gamble on, and it's fun if you're doing just
5, 10, 15, 20, 30
right.
bucks, but I hope
But a
that
lot of
people,
people are not doing that,
I don't
and
know,
a lot of
maybe.
those like lawsuits out there right now on draft against DraftKings. I was
Well,
seeing
some of
today.
it, another part of that thing I read, they ban people that are good at gambling, sports gambling, which I guess there are some people, I don't know. I mean, I'm good at
Oh,
maybe live gambling, which that's only barely, but they don't even let them take bets. So they don't even take bets. I think that's what it is. You have to let you can't limit the smart people from betting big bets. I don't know. The whole thing is a fucking it's bad. I
yeah,
don't know. I think it'll get worse, and then people will be like,
they'll get it made illegal again.
I don't know. That's kind of a tricky thing. Is it as bad as people think? And you're just like, instead of buying lottery tickets, like I'd
Yeah,
wonder, like, what's lottery
yeah.
ticket sales compared to just
Have those gone down? Maybe.
yeah. So you instead of just buying lottery tickets and quick draw, you just put 10, 15. I don't think there's people betting $150 on games every game.
Oh,
Maybe, but
150? There's people betting 150 grand.
wow, people that have money, I don't care about them, but people
Well,
like
yeah,
normal people.
yeah,
I don't
and
even
you're
people that you
yeah,
and I know. I don't think they're betting more
in
than
this
50
yeah,
bucks.
and of course the stories you hear are going to be like this guy lost $1 million and whatever, but like those are
Which,
rare.
yeah, some people max out credit cards and stuff, but I think there's supposed to be guardrails and
Well,
stuff.
that yeah, and that's why there's lawsuits because I guess the one story I saw is DraftKings like really like there's one guy he was just way too easily able to basically deposit money he didn't actually have, and
Well,
yeah,
I
so
mean, you got to have they should have limit fucking oh, he's depositing multiple $1,000s a week. I mean, you got to that should be a lawsuit. Although the guys, well, fuck them. But so we got the Rams. The spread went from 4.5 to 3.5.
yeah,
Oh, what's the total? Uh, some of that, my guess is following some of this stuff. Maybe people are betting Rams money line and not the actual spread, so that's pushing the spread
Yeah.
down. Why would you bet the Rams 4.5 or
Yeah.
4?
You're expecting a field goal game one way or the other.
Yeah, and which I don't. So your best bet, your best, you're hoping then what? Like a backdoor cover.
That too.
I'm thinking like you would want that. You'd be betting just the money line. So maybe that's what's.
Well, I feel like you're not if you're gonna take the 3.5. Like, why even bet that unless you think the Rams have like a legit chance to win? Like, it seems silly to like,
Well, yeah, that's my
oh,
point.
I'm
That's my
only
point of
yeah,
just take. You might as well take the money line at plus
right,
160 or whatever.
yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
maybe
Because
that's what's people. There's money just coming in on the Rams to win. But what's
yeah,
baked into it, or some of the people are saying, is like there could be it could be 50-50 Bills fans, Rams
oh yeah,
fans,
gonna be a lot of Bills fans. Yep.
which that's I would count on that. I would count on there being many Bills fans there. I mean, just talking about like fucking
Week
the
one,
Colts.
2022. Week one, 2022 was there were a ton of Bills fans there that game. It's only gonna be more now.
Yeah, so it's 3.5, totals 49.5, which
Yeah,
seems high. I think I would take the under a
I
bit.
would take the under as well.
But the other thing, what was I gonna say? Let me remember.
It's all right. It's late. It's
Something
late.
about the Colt.
It's gotta be. It's close to 10 o'clock.
Nine, almost 10 o'clock on a Friday night. No,
Oh
not late,
yeah!
but
Holy shit! I almost went down. I'm good though.
check those ankles.
Jesus, treacherous here. Um, yeah, the Rams. They love to run the ball. They Tyron. He's got a lot of touchdowns. I think he's got double-digit TDs, a lot of yards, but his yards for carries not that great. I'm not sure how. I mean, that's what their game plan is going to be, right? They're just going to try and run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Like that's what teams
I
try to
don't
do
know
against
though.
us.
I mean, well, I would hope McDermott's smart, or not McDermott, McVay is smart enough to not do that. You would think maybe you were a little weak against the Bills are weak against the run, but
Yeah.
you have two elite receivers. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think that the strength of our defense is stopping that passing like the passing game, and I think they'll be able to hit Cup and Puka for underneath plays, but
yeah, they're going to eat underneath. I mean, we
um,
do have Milano, my boy Milano back,
yeah,
but
that'll help. Taron Johnson, um, I think I think that we're gonna probably they'll have some success running the ball, the dink and dunk early in the game, and I'd have to expect based on how the season goes that we'll tighten it up. Stafford can't run; he doesn't scramble at all. He's like just a statue. Well, I mean, he can move around in the pocket, obviously. I like Stafford a lot too, like you, but he's not scrambling. So, um, I don't
yeah, so
want to say they're yeah,
they are kind of a unicorn with their offense. They're although actually I would say they're pretty analogous to Detroit. So these two games,
a little bit, yeah, less,
Goff can move. Yeah, Goof
way
can
worse
get a
offensive
move,
line,
but
way worse offensive line in
yeah, offensive
Detroit.
line's worse too.
I don't think their offensive line is a strength. Not sure if they have any weapons at tight end. Uh, you
Oh, what
know,
was it? I was gonna say. Now I remember. Yeah, these beers are. But we play at
plural.
SoFi. We play at SoFi so much.
Yeah, we have played there a lot. Last year
Play
we
it
played there
twice. Played there
like
this year.
3 years in a row.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. But so there might be a lot of Bills fans there, like a
Yeah,
real lot, I would think.
yeah, um, yeah. And defensively, I mean, they got those young guys on the D line, but I trust our offensive line. They've been really good. Allen doesn't take sacks.
That is a
Um,
lot of it. This offensive line, the Bills offensive line really is. I don't know. I mean, people, I guess, don't talk about an offensive line, but the Bills' offensive line this year has been like phenomenal. And that was supposed to be, that was part of my thing. Like, oh, the offensive line's not going to be that good. The
because we
center, I had
lost one
questions
dude.
about. They lost the center and they
That's
moved
it. That's
not the
they
right
lost the
guard.
center.
Well, they were. I mean, people had questions marks about the right tackle, although we paid him. So I guess we shouldn't have had questions about him.
No, and he's, these young guys, Osiris Torrance, who's been allegedly like phenomenal against in run blocking this year, and another year of experience for Brown.
And the other
Um,
thing, like people, I mean, I hate to give this team so much credit, but the way the program, it is kind of like a college program where McBeaner, they get these guys and they're on the team or on the practice squad, and they're on the team for 3 years and they
yeah.
haven't played really, and then they know the whole system. So it is kind of a lot of that is like a college system, the way really some of these players are on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, especially defensively. I mean, clearly McDermott has a system that he has, certain types of guys that he can just fit in. You don't have to be like
Which
the
we have,
most
yeah, we have 90
talented.
seconds left. Which we're like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like the Micah Hyde thing. So many the media people are just the Twitter people. Micah Hyde, Micah, like so many Micah Hyde tweets, and yet no one I talk to in real life is like, oh, Micah Hyde. I mean,
I
I
think
love the
it's
guy.
yeah.
I love the guy, but
It's nice to have him for insurance purposes because I think that McDermott's terrified to have to play Cole Bishop in a playoff game.
yeah. And the last thing, we only have a minute, but like, oh, if you're mad about us signing Micah Hyde to the practice squad, like I think it was WGR. I'll steal it from them. Name the other players on the practice squad. Like
Yeah, exactly.
what are you mad about, really?
You're mad about because you want to be mad and complain about something.
Yeah.
Like
Even
it's
me,
he's
I'm not even complaining. I'm talking about like the media people like, oh my
yeah.
God, my God. Although Biscaglia had it, so I'll give him some credit there. But so Rams, I'll give my prediction first here.
Yeah.
I I think that we are laser set on this trying to get this one seed. So I'll just say, well, I want to take the under, so I'll say 28 to 19.
What was the over under again? 49.
49 and a half.
All right, I'll go 34-13. Bills.
Well, there you go. The fanboys,
There you go.
we got,
Oh boy.
mm, well, we'll see in Detroit then.
We don't